MotorWeek is made possible by RockAuto.com.
This time we're going to get some good advice from our online parts expert, Mr. Tom Taylor from RockAuto.com. Tom, welcome back to Goss's Garage.
Thanks for having me, Pat.
All right, you have some electrical stuff here for us today.
Yeah, I have three different types of parts I thought viewers would find interesting. The first one is the fuel pump assembly. This goes in the fuel tank, and the inside's the fuel pump. It sends the gas to the engine. If you see your fuel gauge maybe starts out at full, then drops to empty all at once, you know your tank's still got gas in it. What's happening is this is the sending unit for the fuel gauge, and this electrical contact wears out over time. And this arm starts wiggling around, the bushing wears out, so you'll get an erratic fuel gauge as these contacts go. So some cars like this one have two of these. The fuel tank's actually saddlebag shaped. It wraps around the exhaust and the drive shaft. So you might see your fuel gauge won't go above a half or it won't fall below a quarter. That's an indication that the one side in the saddlebag fuel tank is failing. And I always recommend replacing the whole thing. You can buy just the fuel pump or just the individual parts, but you've gone to all the effort to take this out, might as well get a whole fresh unit so you don't have to ever do it again in the near future.
Good advice there.
The next one, this is a new system that still has some growing pains in new cars. It's an electric water pump that circulates the coolant through the radiator and such. And you'll find these pumps for cooling hybrid batteries and hybrids. Well, this particular one, the coolant's flowing through this plastic housing that's shared with the electrical connector. So you'll have the plastic will crack, and you'll have coolant being pumped through the electrical connector into the wiring harness, which has tape or conduit wrapped around it. And the coolant can go all the way and damage a computer somewhere, or show up in the taillight, or end up on the floor in the interior. So it can be really hard to diagnose problems.
Yeah, well, let me tell you from experience, it's hard to explain to a customer why they have coolant in their taillight. They just don't understand.
Yeah, I bet. The last one, I thought it'd just be fun to resolve a conflict spouses might be having. Hey, should we have the blower motor on the heat and AC up high, or does that waste gas? Should always be down low. And the first one here is from an old vehicle. And what happens there, if you don't have it on high, if you have the fan down on low, the extra current just goes through these coils and heats them up. So you're not saving any energy, no electricity or gas. You're just generating more heat if you don't have your fan up. While the new ones cycle on and off like fuel injectors do. There's a duty cycle, and as you increase the fan speed, the computer just pulses the motor on and off faster. So theoretically here, if you turn it down low, the duty cycle there's longer intervals. So you're theoretically using a little less electricity, maybe save a cup of gas over the life of the vehicle.
A cup of gas. Well, that makes it really worthwhile.
At least you settle the argument.
Right. Well, Tom, thank you for sharing. And if you have a question or a comment, drop me a line right here at MotorWeek.